Here we go. 6 million car crashes are associated with deer every year, accounting for hundreds of deaths. These crashes typically happen in areas where there's a high number of deer, and Ann Arbor is one of these areas. If you drive through Ann Arbor around sunset, you are likely to see some deer near the roadways. This can often be quite a refreshing sight on your way home from work, but it can become a problem when it becomes a risk to the public's safety. I personally drive 10 to 15 hours a week throughout Ann Arbor for my job. But a few weeks ago, when I was driving to St. Joe Hospital, I looked into the field across from the hospital where there's normally 10 to 15 deer. When I looked out there, I realized there were no deer out there yet. When I looked back to the road, there was a deer about 10 yards in front of me, about to cross. As I felt my heart rate increase, I reached for the brake. The deer took one step into the road, looked up at me, and took one step back. As I passed the deer, I realized I was half a second away from being a part of the 50-plus collisions that happen with deer every year in Ann Arbor. These types of crashes cause $1.1 billion in property damages every year. So if we want to find a solution to the overpopulation of deer, we need to do it quick so that we can stop these horrific incidents from happening. Line?
The City of Ann Arbor.
The City of Ann Arbor started a deer culling program. This program started in 2016 with a small deer cull. This is a pretty decent startup plan, but for the thousands of dollars it costs the city, it was hardly worth the cost. Moving on to 2019, the project was ramped up significantly, as the number of crashes involving deer had almost doubled. The plan was to send out sharpshooters in these zones of Ann Arbor and harvest 250 whitetails. There are many protests focused around this, with campaigns such as Stop the Shoot and Save the Deer. The main focus of these groups was to stop any sort of deer management that killed any deer. Their counteroffer was female sterilization. But for a group that prides themselves on being for the well-being of animals, they should not be supporting this horrific program. This program has been often criticized as the deer cannot be maintained or managed afterwards and are very prone to injury. This became very clear 9 days after the sterilization efforts when a doe with a number tag on her ear was found roaming the streets of Ann Arbor in distress. This deer was forced to be captured and euthanized. After these horrific sterilization efforts, the call was moved forward. It was set from January 2nd to January 20th. During this 18-day call, 115 deer were harvested. This may put a decent dent in the overall population, but for the $370,000 it cost the city, it was hardly worth the cost. The line?
City of Newark.
The City of Newark, Ohio, has a program that could radically change the deer management program in Michigan. This is a very tightly managed deer hunt used to manage the population. This hunt is done with archery only to keep the hunt very safe. As an added safety precaution, any hunter given permission to partake in the hunt must complete an archery proficiency test. This hunt has been a proven way to safely manage the deer population and keep costs to a minimum. Now, other hunts like this have been a part of the Hunters for the Hungry program. This program has provided over 8 million meals in the past year to families in need. And assuming a similar goal to 2019 at 250 whitetails, with an average meat yield of 39 to 102 pounds, this could provide between 9,750 and 25,500 pounds of meat for families in need. So we should be doing our best to encourage a similar city limits deer hunt in the city of Ann Arbor so we can better our city, benefit the community, and keep the citizens safe.